Hello everyone, my name is Sam Webber. I'm an incident meteorologist trainee here on the Calf Canyon Hermit's Peak Fire working with Southwest Team 2, which is actually their last day today, so we'll be working alongside a new team that it will be Southwest Team 5 here in the next 14 days. So happy to have worked with Team 2, but excited to work with Team 5 as we head into the week. So we'll just take a look here as we've always done and look at our view of satellite over the region. As you can see today, we've got very minimal cloud cover over us right now. A lot of the southern plains are clear, a lot of the southwest is clear, except for this area of clouds that's pushing into northern Utah. You can kind of see them streaming off to the northeast there. That's because we have a storm system that's starting to push into the Great Basin region, which is bringing us those red flag conditions that we've been seeing over yesterday, today, and even into tomorrow. So that'll be an important factor of our forecast as we head forward here through the early week. Something I want to bring your attention to here is at the very beginning of the loop here in north central Arizona, you see this area of really kind of light brown. That's a lot of wildfire smoke stemming from a new fire that just started north of Flagstaff. That's called the pipeline fire. And so that thing is starting to burn pretty big, pretty hot. It's putting up a lot of smoke into the atmosphere. You can see it extending all the way up into southwestern Colorado and even into northern Colorado here as that loop plays over. So that's something pretty cool that looks from space. Obviously the impacts are not cool, but it looks really neat on space from a satellite view when you can see all that streaming and how far that smoke really makes it. So not a lot of activity going on in our area though. You see, yesterday we saw the midnight fire up in the Carson National Forest producing a lot of smoke. This morning, not so much. So we'll head here forward into our water vapor imagery, and so you did see a little bit of cloud cover over southeastern and northeastern New Mexico, and that's because we still got this little area of moisture that's sticking with us from when we had our last moisture push. You know, it pushed it back over southwest Arizona, started over the past few days, started to see that gradually migrate our way where we start some afternoon cloud cover and even some light area showers. So that moisture is pretty much out of here. We're a little bit on the far western edge up here in north central New Mexico. So we do expect to see a few clouds today as that moisture stays with us, potentially even a few dry thunderstorms or virga showers. So we're going to have some pretty gusty winds with those while we have those red flag warning conditions in place. But you'll look here to the west, we still see this really large area of bright yellow and deep orange representing that really dry air that we have yet to come. So as this pattern here that I noted over the Great Basin continues to move eastward, we're going to see a shift in that drier air overhead. So while we have really dry conditions over the fire right now, those humidity values and dew points are going to continue to drop as that really dry area continues to move over north central New Mexico over the next few days. So we'll go ahead and move on here. And so this is the pattern that I was just talking about. You could see it on satellite. This is what it looks like from our weather model's perspective. And that's that trough, that storm system that's coming in over the Great Basin. Here we are in north central New Mexico, and here's where some of the flow is coming from that area of really dry air mass that I was showing you. And you see all these pinks and purples and blues here in this bottom outlet here. That is our wind, so we're seeing really strong winds ahead of this system as it moves over the Great Basin. That's what we're seeing today. That's what's promoting those red flag warning conditions alongside these really dry and really windy conditions. So that's what we're looking at today. Today looks like our peak day in winds. So some of the strongest winds we've seen out of this critical fire weather period look to be making it over here today. Up high on our exposed areas of the fire, we're expecting wind gusts of anywhere to 40 to 45 miles per hour, potentially even higher in some of those windier spots that we've been noticing. So pretty breezy, but nowhere near what red flags were like when this fire was really growing rapidly back in April and May. We were seeing wind gusts as high as 70 to even 75 miles per hour. So While it's windy, yes, and kind of north of where we use our threshold for red flag warnings, which is right around 25 to 30 miles per hour, it is still nowhere near what we were seeing back when this fire was really growing rapidly. So that's a lick of good news there. We do have this storm system pulling off slowly as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday. So we have another red flag warning out for Tuesday, but we are expecting a net downtrend in our winds as we head to tomorrow. So that's good news. And we'll go forward here and we'll start looking at the 3-day weather maps. Today, we have that highlighted area in gray of our critical fire weather conditions. The stars where we are here. Tomorrow, I'm still expecting to see some of this gray linger over with us. Like I mentioned, we have that storm pulling off, but the critical fire weather conditions are not over yet. So tomorrow, expecting more of that gray that we're seeing there today to end up over here. And then heading into Wednesday as that storm fully starts to lift off and we start to build an area of high pressure back in, which will bring some moisture. I'll note that. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But we will still see potentially some elevated fire weather conditions Monday as the storm system lifts off. And we're still going to be left with some dry conditions, but Wednesday is really that transition day where I just noted. So we'll go forward here. And here we are, Monday. You can see through Wednesday a net downtrend in our dew points, which I just noted from that area over the southwest, over Arizona. That's going to start moving over us, start to drop our dew points significantly, and that's the measure of the moisture in the atmosphere that we like to use. You can see our relative humidities dropping through Wednesday as well. Our overnight recoveries, which are these brighter orange bars, dropping, so that higher overnight recoveries, or my apologies, higher max humidities overnight could mean a longer burn period for the fire. So things are going to continue to be a little bit more active through Wednesday, but take a look at Thursday forward, how fast we increase those dew points. With that moisture expected to come in late Wednesday into Thursday, dew points shoot up rapidly, so do our humidity values. Look at this net uptrend here in both minimum and maximum humidity, so that's really good for us. The other thing that's going to bring is the potential for daily showers and thunderstorms. So you look, we're pretty much we are precipitation free through Thursday. And then Thursday forward, every single day has at least the chance for some showers and thunderstorms over the area. So we'll get better chances at seeing some wetting rains over the fire, hopefully cool things down as we head into the weekend, especially once we really start to moisten up the environment. And you'll take a look, this is really easily seen in the cloud cover, how much cloud cover we carry through as that moisture comes in. So this next graphic here actually shows the weather pattern that we're going to expect. And we showed this yesterday, and this still looks like it's pretty on track. So the way that this weather pattern sets up, I noted that trough kind of up over the Great Basin region. That's going to push that high pressure that we've been seeing the past few days off to the east. And that clockwise rotation around the high pressure is going to start to draw moisture out of the Gulf of Mexico and push it right up here into eastern New Mexico. You will see the moisture, again, you can see this is our surface dew points, pulling stuff right out of the Gulf, right up into eastern New Mexico here. And then also, with this storm system up over to our west, over the Great Basin, we have a counterclockwise rotation around that, which is also going to start to pull moisture out of the warm body of Gulf of California. So we're going to kind of see a convergence of those two air masses right over the southwest. So even if we may miss some showers with that moisture, the dew points are going to come up, our humidities are going to come up. So at the very, very least, our daytime humidities are not going to be low enough to cause some elevated or near critical fire burning conditions. So this is positive going forward. This is what we like to see from a monsoon pattern. This is even, I would say, a very typical monsoon pattern. Not saying that this pattern is going to stick around with us, because wherever this high shifts will give us an influence over here. So if we see this high shift over further to the west, we start to see less of that moisture pulled from the Gulf of Mexico and start to end up, heading into northern Mexico and Arizona over here. So we kind of cut off that moisture surge if we bring this high a little bit to the west. If we keep it in this position over here, kind of over the central United States off to our east, that's really good. So we'll be looking for that. On some weeks it can come, some weeks it can go. So we're still going to look at periods of dry, but at least we have a little hint that things are starting to normalize as we head into summer here. So let's go ahead and go on to our next slide here. This is something I want to talk about real quick. So we are still 10 days away from our peak fire season in this area. So June 23rd for this northeast highlands area of New Mexico is when we typically see the highest fuel moistures, the best availability for critical burning conditions is still 10 days away. But as I mentioned, if we go into the next slide here, we have that Gulf moisture that's going to start to push in as we head into Thursday, Friday, and even into the weekend. So July 1st is the typical end of the large fire season. So we can still have active fire going on, but large fires should become less of a problem as we head into July 1st on average. But with that moisture push coming in that I just mentioned, we could actually beat some of these dates. So we'll potentially, especially when that moisture comes in, start to see a downtrend in fire activity, a downtrend in the fuel moisture, or rather an uptick in the fuel moisture. So there's more moisture in the fuels. They're a little bit wetter, and they're not as dry, and they're not going to behave as extreme. So we'll be continuing to watch this, but signs are good so far, and we'll just need to watch wherever that position of that high pressure moves is really going to depend on how much moisture gets in here. So lastly here, we'll just look at our fire weather matrix. We already went over Monday, Tuesday, how we have those red flag warnings still in place with that weather pattern that's moving over the Great Basin. By Wednesday, we start to move out of those critical fire weather conditions. So we're starting to lighten our winds a little bit, cooling off just a hair, but our humidities stay pretty low. So I think we're still going to see some elevated fire weather conditions on Wednesday. As we head into late Wednesday and Thursday, you can see we start to change up to a southeast wind. That's with that moisture push coming in out of the Gulf of Mexico up into eastern New Mexico. You can see a shift from a lot of red and yellow boxes to more red, a little bit of green, and then look at Friday and Saturday, how much green we have up there. So we're really solid into this. I think we're going to be expecting to see some moisture coming in by late in the week. And hopefully could see some more moderated burn conditions over the fire. So with that, that is your Monday Facebook weather update. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.